Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. So, we are going to play as Persia. We are going to be playing as a scriptural traditionalist realm. Perhaps one day we will be a scriptural republic. Although, actually, now come to think of it, I don't think... my point is, I may hurtle towards a theocracy, if I can make that happen. Seems like I can't from a kingdom, but we'll see. Maybe we'll just keep our state religion. We've got a special one of these, and we'll stay there for now. But that's the goal. We're gonna be Shia Islam maxing. We're going to form ourselves a religious convocation, which is the one type of power block that I haven't played yet. We're gonna do our best to stay independent. And we're going to expand. We got the Eastern Frontier event chain, which will allow us to expand here into Afghanistan and the Central Asian republics. And, we're going to take some shots at the Ottoman Empire, hopefully. So, in preparation for all that, let's see how things are going in the country. We have an autocratic monarchy. We have subjecthood for citizenship. That's not great. Hopefully we'll be able to get over to something better than that. We have a church and state law called People of the Book. This is a special church and state law that I believe is available to all Muslim nations. Let's take a quick look at it. So it's a variation on state religion. It gives the standard 30% strength bonus to the devout faction. It gives the standard 200 authority. It cuts conversion by 50% and conscriptable battalions by 40%. It gives 25 acceptance from the state religion and 5 acceptance from religious traits and trait groups, minus 25 from no shared trait groups. So what this means is that Christians and Jews in Persia will get plus 5 from the religious trait groups, I believe, instead of minus 25 from no shared religious status. It allows conversion for all classes, and finally, hold up. Hey, stop it. Stop disappearing. There we go. Finally, it allows collection of the jizya, which I believe that's how that's pronounced, jizya, and that's the religious tax, which is providing us pretty significant amount of our revenue right now. National revenue is 16.1k from poll taxes, and that's the jizya, I believe. And that can't be right. No, hold on. Current revenue 16.1k. Maybe that's revenue from all poll taxes, because I know that for land-based taxation... Oh, wait, are land taxes technically separate? Let's see. Not sure. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as time goes by. So we got subjecthood, which isn't great. We got a very sort of straight down the ticket traditionalist setup. We've got hereditary bureaucrats, we've got peasant levies, we've got no internal security. Economically, we've got traditionalism, which is pretty rough. We got mercantilism, we got land-based taxation, we got serfdom. So this is going to be, we're going to have a struggle. We've got slave trade, we've got combination acts. So this is going to be a real struggle. A lot of people would prefer guild system, I wouldn't. So yeah, our laws are tough. We got our legal situation cut out for us. Let me see. Persian Hormuz, a treaty port. That's oh, they're paying for this. Yeah. Yep, that's what's going on over there. Alright. So now let's take a look at our economy. We've got 6 total light industry buildings, 3 textile mills, 2 furniture manufactories, and 1 glassworks. That's pretty tough to start. We got wheat farms, who could be more productive if they were making citrus, so we'll do that. 16 levels of wheat farms, 2 levels of rice farms, 3 levels of livestock ranches. We have no heavy industry whatsoever, but we do have the ability to import the necessaries for that. We have violent treatment enabled for all of our plantations that can enable it. 2 cotton plantations, 1 dye plantation, 7 opium, 3 tea, and 2 silk. So we are silk producers. We do not have any paper production or tools production. So yeah, you know, we're at a pretty good start. Do we have any wood? We do have wood. We have some logging camps. We got some government bureaucracy. We got some fishing wharves. So you know, this is going to be a challenge. This is going to be a challenge. So, first thing we'll do is we'll throw some consumption taxes in here. We're going to do services. We're going to do tea. And there's not really a lot else to do, so I think we'll keep our authority on other stuff. Oh my goodness, we have shortages of taxation capacity, which is not ideal. Let's go ahead and build up some taxation capacity. We can't do... Oh my gosh, are these seriously producing 2 taxation capacity per level? This is ridiculous. Okay, I think the first thing we actually need is paper. We have no bureaucracy here. Yes, that would be 4 levels. If we went up to filing cabinets, that would be... Yeah, it really is 2 taxation capacities. That's incredible. I believe it would be 10 taxation capacity per level. So that would be significant. So in order to do that... Where is our logging located geographically? We got 1 level in Tabriz, and 2 levels in Mazandaran. So this is the right place to build our first unit of paper mills. Oh man, that's going to take a long time. This hurts. This hurts, friends. I'm actually going to build some construction sectors. First thing, straight out the gate. We'll build 2 levels in Mazandaran and 2 levels in the capital. Why do we have a shortage of construction efficiency here? Because of the Alborz Mountains. Okay, alright. This, I believe, even on wood frame construction, is going to roughly double our construction output. And hopefully it's not going to completely beef our market, which is currently pretty down bad. So we'll get started with that. Let's take a look at tech. In production, we are doing extremely bad. We do not even have all of the tier 1s. We don't have the cotton gin or lathe. Never mind all of these tier 2s that we're going to need for our basic functionality. So that's going to be rough. Military, we're in even a worse spot. We don't have paddle steamer yet. That's not that bad, but over here in the land side, we have gunsmithing and artillery. We do not have military drill. We do not have mandatory service, line infantry, or army reserves, or Napoleonic warfare. These are critical techs, and we are going to do our best to develop them as soon as we can. Over here in society, we're doing okay on the urbanization side, although we don't have... we're still missing 4 of the level 1s, stock exchange, currency standards, colonization, and banking. Over here on the rationalism side, we only have democracy research. We don't have academia, mass communication, medical degrees, romanticism, or empiricism. So this is going to be really tough. I think the first place we're going to start, and I know none of y'all are really going to be shocked by this, we're going to go directly to Napoleonic warfare and then to general staff. This is simply a necessity. In terms of diplomacy, we're going to begin improving relations with the Russians, who are near to us, and to the Brits, who are not near to us, but who could potentially be a problem. I can't add a general to this army, yet I have to. Alright, let's take a quick look. A slaver, a royalist. Royalist, you're in. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna goof up my my bureaucracy here. And let me see, what else do I want to do? I think in terms of diplomacy, are there any viable rivals for me? Kabul, Oman, and the Khalsa-Raj. I think I'll rival Oman. For now. I think I can take Oman in a fight. Mombasa is a tributary of Oman, and they are... this country. Alright, fine. Not going to be a problem for me. Alright, let's get going. We got a lot to do. Oh, sorry. The Anti-Russian League is disbanded. Neat. Omani attitude change, that's not shocking. We're going to fall to an unrecognized regional power. I can't do anything about that in the short term. I need to enact some decrees. I need road maintenance in Mazandaran. I need to encourage resource industry in Mazandaran. That's going to provide me the wood that I need to do my construction expansion. We'll make sure that that goes. We also have the Eastern Frontier event chain available. Let's take a quick look at that while we're getting started here. Oman declared rivalry back. Okay, that's cool. The great expanse to our east, dominated once by bustling cities such as Merv and Herat, which have comprised part of Persian Khorasan ever since the days of the Monarcher. These lands have since been wrested from us by the passage of time and the domination of oppressive and powerful rulers. It can be so no longer. Decisive steps must be taken to reintegrate these wayward lands so that no foreign power may invade and subjugate them again. Tyrrhenian captivity. Generations of Turkmen raids into our lands have resulted in large populations of Persian slaves, toiling in oases such as Uzbekia, that is here, and Khorasma, that is... Where are we? Here. Capturing these areas will allow us to liberate and resettle enslaved Persian communities if we so please. Used by doing the emergency relief decree, any owned state can be designated as a resettlement target. This will complete if Greater Khorasan, which is this entire area, okay. Khorasmia, which is this area, and Transoxiana, which is this area here. So basically this whole swath of territory here, comprising much of what is now Afghanistan and a lot of what is currently the Central Asian republics. This is Turkmenistan. This is currently Kazakhstan. I don't know that much about the geography of this area. I know that together this area is Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan, but I don't... That's the limit of my knowledge currently. And we've conquered and restored Merv, which is this state here. Triggers event the Land of the Rising Sun. One of the following events. Persia gains Wealth of the East. Okay, which is extra company throughput bonus and company construction bonus. Alright. Or Knowledge of the East, extra tech spread and research speed. That's very good. And Dar ul Funan, extra tech spread and university building throughput in Iraqi Ajami, which is our capital here. The state containing the city of Tehran. Actually, hold on. Road maintenance here too, because we're building there as well. Or, finally, Persia gets shit on Epars, minus 20% morale loss, and a claim on Erzurum, Basra, Baghdad, Mosul, Trucial Coast, and Baku, Elizabethpol, Armenia, Tiflis, North Caucasus, and Dagestan. Okay, interesting. So we can get a tech bonus, we can get a company bonus, or we can get a bunch of claims on the lands to the west of us. That's interesting. That's going to be an interesting decision. We'll figure out how we're going there. So, cash flow is still good. How's the market? Wood is still only moderately expensive. I'm very pleased with that. As we've got 2 construction sectors building here, or hiring here. All right, wood has become expensive. All right, we knew that was going to happen. There was no world in which that does not happen. Persian-Russian League demands action. The Persian-Russian League has requested that we establish an embargo against the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire is a known opponent of Russian interests. Persian-Russian League, who's in there? Just the... Oh, it's the landowners. We must be as comprehensive as possible. Any other approach is irresponsible. Ottoman aggression is as old as the hills. I fear that it may appear as if we're using our own nation as a piece on a chessboard for the sake of a foreign power. What would you say if pressed? A circumstantial alignment will not subordinate us. In this case, Russian interests happen to be Persian interests. It's as simple as that. We'll look into this, or this is not in our interest. If we do the first one, we need to embargo them within 5 years. If not, the Russian-Persian League gets angry, and that makes my landowners mad, and that's not great. So I'm going to say we'll look into it, and we'll kick that can down the road a bit. Political movements, I got absolutists, I got slavers, I got Persian supremacists, and I got Shiite traditionalists. So, I don't think any of them are going to help me accomplish anything at present. Going to national supremacy or racial segregation would be very good. Who would be unhappy about this? The landowners. The landowner is my ancient nemesis. Alright, let's take a quick look at this situation here. Kabul and Kandahar are in a fight. Kabul wants to annex all of Kandahar. I don't love that, but it is what it is. I don't think I've got a dog in this race. But let's go forward to the start of the diplomatic play. Gotta negotiate support from Kandahar. War goals. I could do a make tributary, but the problem is, and I have nothing I can get with Kabul. The problem is, having them as a tributary will not be very useful to me because they'll be isolated from my market. So I think I'm just gonna have to live with things as they are for now. I am really straining my wood production capacity, but I just have to get this paper. I have to get this paper. Victoria 3 players everywhere. Well, that having been said, let's actually build up the paper mills. I'm actually not losing that much because my total tax revenue is really, really low. Let's see if the poll taxes... No, the poll taxes don't distinguish between religious taxes and regular garden variety poll taxes. So for the eastern frontier... Sorry, I didn't finish reading this. I got 4 actions here. Claim Greater Khorasan, which is while Persian claims to Greater Khorasan stretch back millennia, in recent centuries our control of the area have ranged from loose to nominal. Nader Shah's eastern campaigns briefly saw the restoration of Persian control to Khorasan, but his achievements proved fleeting, and he would not outlast his reign. What Nader Shah begun, Shah Muhammad Shah shall finish, and with a great campaign that will see Persian rule restored to the east for perpetuity. Herat, the pearl of Khorasan and our key to the east, will serve as the linchpin of this great undertaking. So, in order to do this, we need to own Herat. If we do, we get claims on basically all of Afghanistan, as well as some of the territories north of her as well. Kandahar, Kabulistan, southern Turkestan, Hazaristan, northern Baluchistan, Khwarezmia, Tajikistan, Uzbekia, Turkmenia, and Merv. We also get for 10 years minus 20% infamy decay, but minus 20% morale loss and 10% extra army offense. Great Britain may react negatively to our occupation of Herat. That's why we're improving relations. Their attitude towards us is cautious. Now, Great Britain often forms an alliance with the Ottomans in the early game. I don't know if they're going to do that this time. We'll see. Other options. So this is sort of our get started thing. We can pacify the Turkmens. To our north, unruly Turkmen tribes defy our authority by raiding our lands, abducting thousands of our subjects every year to be sold off in the great slave markets of Bukhara and Khiva. That's over here. Ever while squatting on rightful Persian lands. Let us kill 2 birds with 1 stone and force these bandits to heel. If any Persian state is in Khorasan, Mazandaran, and Herat, and has a level 10 or greater barracks, as well as the number of battalions in Persia is equal to 50 or greater, and we've researched colonization, we can hit this button. It enables law frontier colonization automatically and gives us 40% increased colony growth speed for 5 years, as well as costing the government £8,000 a week. It makes 5% of Turkmen pops in Persia more radical, 2% of Persian pops in Persia more loyalist. So that's pretty cool. Now, Kafiristan and Kunduz are going after each other. Okay. So, let me take a quick look. 13 battalions Herat has to my 45. If I went directly after Herat, Herat is only Herat right now. It's got a bit of Hazaristan as well. But if I went after the lowest, if I went to annex them to 18.7 infamy, but if I went after the lowest possible infamy item, that would be 5.5. So the East India Company might step in. Kalat might step in, but that's not a problem. Kalat is here. East India Company, let's be better friends. Does the East India Company have a fleet? Not really. So I don't think they're going to be able to get to me to stop this happening. So let's go ahead and hit this button. It doesn't seem like anyone else is going to step in. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do this. Russia's not going to bother. The Ottoman Empire is not going to bother. The Khalsaraj isn't going to bother. And once we've got a hold of the territory, we can wait as long as we like to click that button. So we get started with that. This is not a war I can really afford medium term, but it is what it is. Let's take a look at their armed forces here. They have irregular infantry and hussars. They have irregular infantry. Alright, so I think only one of my armies should be sufficient to deal with this problem. I'm going to use the larger one. I do have some line infantry here. That's interesting. Curious. So I will use my larger army here. I have a supply shortage, which means I need to import cannon. Or, alternatively, I need to delete my artillery units. I don't wish to delete my artillery units. So, let's trigger some import suspensions. Hopefully that'll make it easier to bring in the guns we need. Where are my barracks located? I suspect chiefly the capital. Yeah, okay, this is one of our locations where we got cannon shortage. Ooh, do I have trade capacity here? I do not. Alright, well that's the first step here. Oh my gosh, I don't have any freaking convoys. Oh, that's gonna be bad. Can trade centers function without convoys? They can't. I may have beefed this, friends. Let's build a port. Let's build a port. We have reduced construction efficiency here, but it's our only... Well, actually, hold on. Mazandaran is technically coastal. No, we can't build a port here. One of the most annoying things I ever experienced in a Paradox game. Alright, so I could have handled this better, but them's the breaks. Here's what we'll do. Yep. I'm just going to transfer our... cannon artillery to the other army, and that way this army will not have a shortage. Oh my goodness, we have a small arms shortage as well. Well, that's not great, friends. I may have beefed this. Oh, someone else is going after... No, this is something else. I may have really beefed this, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It could be worse. It could be worse. I'm still gonna build Merchant Marine. I think that's the right call. Now, does this port... Yeah, we're gonna need clippers for that. And we're gonna need to import some. It's gonna be weird, friends. It's gonna be weird. I wasn't thinking about the fact that I don't have any clipper output either. So let's get working on some of that. I don't think that's urgent though, because I think ports can import their own supply if they themselves have trade centers, which this spot doesn't. Do I have no trade infrastructure in the entire country? I don't. This is brutal. This is a brutal start. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. Trade center in Fars, trade center in Iraqi Kajami. I think these buildings working together should, like, buffer themselves. I think if I subsidize the port and the trade center, I think that should function and allow them to import the supplies they need. Alright, how's this looking? Force comparison's not great, because I don't have any supplies. Let's go ahead and stay on the defense for now. In recognition of accomplishment, with the recent investment in Mazandaran, the raw goods industry has resulted in positive balance for the logging camps there. Interest groups are quick to try to claim credit for this investment. We often talk of the progress we've made through the hard work suffered that led us to this joyous occasion. What is not often addressed are those that got us to this point and how without their contributions we would not see such achievements. Industrialists deserve all the credit, stronger industrialists. Landowners should get the credit, stronger landowners. Or workers should be recognized for this. Industrialists and landowners salty, trade unions happier. Or trade unions stronger. I'm going to give it to the industrialists. I think that's good for now. I just realized I need to change up my road maintenance decrees, because I need a road maintenance decree here in Fars where I'm building all this stuff. Where else? Am I producing small arms anywhere? No, I'm not producing my own small arms. Well, them's the bricks. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. Once I'm able to trade, this will go a lot better. I may end up actually just mobilizing the second army and just barreling forward with terrible supply, because that's really the best I got. Alright. There's a war with Herat. I probably should have taken Hazaristan, but I wasn't thinking about it. They're not attacking here, so let's cautiously move forward and see how it goes. If it goes real bad, I'll start pulling back. Oh my goodness, I've already got reduced stuff. War sport. All right, we are going forward. I should have taken the other land. Well, these things happen. All right, ports being built, trade centers being built. It's a process. It's a process, friends. We are winning, so I think I can still continue to bash forward with this thing without causing myself much of a problem. They've got an army fleeing back. I've got a hold of the state of Herat, 25%. If I can win another few battles, I should have full control over it. Their defense has improved significantly, but ours will be improving pretty soon. Because once this port is constructed, we should have some merchant marine and then have the ability to trade. And that's going to make things a lot easier. It's interesting that they're kind of on the back here. Oh, my Manya is going for a full annex war goal. Well, hopefully we'll be able to outrun them. Because this diplomatic play has only just begun. And if I can get a hold of Herat first, I can peace out Herat and just keep Herat the state. And then Maimania will only be able to grab... Well, Maimania won't have a border with Hazaristan, but that it doesn't feel like it's really my problem at that point. Kabul is improving relations. That's okay with me. I'm okay with them with having better relations. So, trade center in Fars. This should give us the ability to import. To import our the clippers we need to run the port. Please be importing merchant marine. Please import merchant marine. Oh man, this I may have goofed this up worse than I thought with this. I think from here, because maybe all of this is just a bad investment, and what I really need is give me Herat. They won't do it, but they should in a week or two. My infamy is already decayed, which I'm pretty pleased about. Okay. Give me the thing. Alright, proposed peace deal. Good. And then, now that I'm holding Herat, I can simply live here as long as I'd like. So the population here is 56% Persian. It is an incorporated state, however, which means my shortage of bureaucracy is even worse. You know, these things happen. I've got the Claim Greater Khorasan option available. I'm still improving relations with Great Britain, though, and Russia as well. Maybe I'll improve relations with Egypt for the time being. Can't? Because I don't have any influence? Because I don't have an interest. Because I only have an interest here in Persia and Afghanistan. Alright. Oh, I need to declare it in Nile, I think. So, I'll declare an interest in Arabia for the moment. I think I can get some territory over here pretty easily. Of course, I don't have any fleets. So, you know, that's going to be a bit of a barrier. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Is it worth it rushing colonization here, or do I want to improve relations with the GPs? I think I want to improve relations with the GPs before I try to go buck wild over there. Let's take a look at our market and make sure that we're doing okay otherwise. Alright, yep, everything's extremely expensive. Them's the breaks. That's what happens in a game such as this. So I think I build I think when the paper mills are done, I still build the shipyards, because that will give me a baseline amount of trade capacity. Let's take a quick look at where our barracks are located geographically. Okay, so Tabriz, we've got a pretty substantial number of barracks. And Khorasan, we have some. Few in Isfahan, yeah, they're kind of scattered all over. Which is not ideal, but I think if we just build one trade center in Tabriz, that should suffice to get us the supplies we need. With the capacity to get us the supplies we need, and that'll be good to go. Are these paper mills more important than the other stuff? I don't think so. Well, how much? We're losing 19% of our cash intake, and we're going to need that cash intake. So, actually, let's build one more construction site. Get us into a nice even 20 construction. And then we'll work on those shipyards. And then we'll finish out the paper mills, and then we'll work on the shipyards. Alright, faith knows no borders. The Shia Ulema wish to strengthen our ties with Muhammara through our shared faith. He stopped for a moment, wiping his brow, when he noticed the Ka'abi farmer on the adjacent field seemed to be knelt down in the furrow. Confused, he looked over, finally noticing that the man was deep in prayer. He should have recognized it, but it had never crossed his mind what they might have in common. A few hard years and a faith that things would get better. Despite differences, we must cherish our shared values. Stronger and happier Shia ulema improves relations, or Persian first, Shiite second, happier intelligentsia. I'm going to do that first one. I think that's just reasonable. So Muhammara is our vassal. They're going down in liberty desire. Let's go ahead and reduce subject payments. It's hardly going to matter. They're paying us 670. Now they're paying us like 440. This is going to make them a lot more willing to be annexed, which is what we want to do. Do I have an annex option that will become available? Yes. Cool. All right. If I can get that territory, I'll be very happy. All right. So let's think about what our market needs. We're importing basically everything. So many things that we need. We now have convoys, merchant marine, that we can use to import stuff. None of it's being used for goods transfer, though, which is an interesting thing. I'm kind of not sure what to make of that. I still need to increase wood capacity. But we're hurtling towards... So Tabriz is our major industrial region. And the question I'm asking myself is, will rushing towards greater industrial production ultimately be more beneficial than simply building up wood capacity? And I think the answer to that question is yes. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to build iron mines. Actually, we're going to build iron mines in the capital. Those are going to require tools. We're going to build logging camps to provide the wood for the tools that our tooling workshops are going to need. That's simply going to reduce the local price of tools by a bit. Then we'll build the tooling workshops, and then we'll build the mines. And what that will do is allow us to turn the tooling workshops into larger, into more effective pig iron tool producing buildings. What that will in turn do is allow us to build ourselves a will allow us to get our wood our logging camps over to sawmill production method, which uses tools. That's going to make them more efficient, which is going to make wood cheaper, which is going to make construction more effective. Long term, the goal of building up iron is to get to iron frame construction. That'll allow us to build faster. But for now, we got to do what we can do. I am going to build one government sector in Mazandaran, and we're actually going to set it to filing cabinets because we're going to already have paper being produced here. And I'm actually going to subsidize these paper mills straight out the gate. Fars, I'm going to desubsidize the port and the trade center. They'll be able to function in due time. Now, Iraqi Kajimi. So what does that do to paper in our market? Wood obviously is very expensive. Paper is dirt cheap. Alright, but there is starting to be paper demand. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this government sector and I'm going to swap them over to paper, over to the paper method. But I'm going to reduce the size by a little. That's going to reduce demand, but it is going to ease the difficulty on our paper sector, because we do have our paper mills producing now. All right, beautiful. And now the question is, what is our taxation capacity situation here? It's pretty high. I'm over on bureaucracy, so I can actually reduce the taxation capacity here by a little bit more. If I reduce it by one more, I'm cutting it very close. But I think that's still the right call, so I'm going to do it. So we've made our government more efficient. We've created a paper market, which is going to be good. We're going to go ahead and halt subsidization of these paper mills right now because they're producing the paper. Well, no, we'll keep doing it. I think I'm going to put actually an import tariff on foreign paper to keep our paper industry running smoothly. So, from here we work on those shipyards. We still only have 25. Now, these ports are... Okay, so they are able to bring in enough clippers to function. The trade centers are bringing in clippers themselves. Although they're actually bringing in luxury furniture and artillery and outporting dope. Which, you know, them's the breaks. Alright. Shipyards and farms. I still think that's the right call. I may be making a mistake from a short-term perspective on that, but we'll see. Now, my investment pool is growing very, very slowly. That is something that will be more effective, number one, when I've accomplished a move away from traditionalism, but number two, when I've accomplished an expansion of my light industry, which is currently entirely dysfunctional. Oof. I am going to... Can I produce luxury furniture? Do I produce any hardwood right now? Answer is no. So let's take a look at our logging camps. I think I want the ones in the capital to produce hardwood so that I can start producing luxury furniture. I think that's going to be really important. Where am I producing my furniture now? Oh, they're both in Mazandaran. Don't you frickin' autonomously downsize. You goobers. I'll be furious. I'll be furious if you autonomously downsize. In fact, produce luxury furniture, please. Has that made them even less profitable? Yes, it seems like it has. Alright, never mind. We'll figure this out, though. We'll figure this out. Man, this is not as hard as Japan in the start, but it's complicated. Because of the way trade works now, it's very complicated. A statue of Shah Muhammad Shah Qajar was commissioned, and it has been suggested to be displayed proudly in Tabriz. Imperious is how you would describe the look in the face of the statue when it smiles down on you. Eyes that flicker in the opposite direction of the sun, though maybe you are just imagining it. A monument worthy of the Shah, extra prestige, 2% of pops in Tabriz become more radical. Or perhaps not everyone wishes to be reminded of the Shah, landowners unhappy. I'm going to do the first one. I'm also going to embargo the Ottoman Empire. Which is the thing I promised my landowners to do, and I don't want them to be salty. There's that completed. And that's made my landowners a little happier. So, is that going to allow me to get up to anything? I can't go to dedicated police force because... Hold on. I'll throw the armed forces in my government for a second. Because the landowners actually will stop it. Can I live without the landowners? I cannot. Urgh. It's bad. It's a bad situation. A professional army. A National Guard. That's not bad. Stronger petite bourgeoisie. That's going to be good for our overall structure long term. Reduce political strength of officers. That's interesting. Costs bureaucracy, which I do have. We'll leave the laws alone for now while I work on the economy. I don't necessarily think National Guard is going to be long-term that good. Long-term, I think secret police is going to be absolutely necessary. So we'll continue with that. So we have our own clipper production at this point. So let's get our fishing wharves using those clippers to produce more fish. It's not going to be that great, but it's going to provide some market for the shipyards, and that's going to be useful. The United States has formed the Steadfast Union. It's a cultural commonwealth. Uh-oh. That's going to be very, very interesting. All right. Logging camps and tooling workshops in Iraqi Yajami are in the process of being constructed, and there's mandatory service. So, this allows national militia, which would not be more likely to be enacted than the current thing. Although I can negotiate with interest groups. Peasant Levy's 4% conscription rate is not bad at this stage. Ottoman Empire is embargoing us back, okay. Whereas 1% for the professional army. I'm still in maybe mode. I think dedicated police force is better. So let's hit that button. And we'll negotiate with our, oh, we can only negotiate with the Shia Ulema. The landowners are not interested. Curious. Alright, well, let's negotiate with the Shia Ulema and see what they would like. Mahmoud Ansari has agreed to a private meeting, clearly seeking a path that will benefit both the nation and the Shia Ulema's interests over dedicated police forces. We have no eternal allies. We have no perpetual enemies. Our interests are eternal and perpetual, and those interests it is our duty to follow. Lord Palmerston. Place their members in administrative positions. Bureaucracy penalty. Increased interest group political strength. Let's add some fine print about political concessions. Added political concessions to dedicated police force. What does this do? This is... Okay, stronger Shia Ulema and happier forever. Vow to improve the lives of common people. Increase average standard of living to 7.3 within years. Interesting. Or none of these. I'm going to give them the political concessions. I think this is ultimately a thing we do want to do. The Shia Ulema are going to be very useful to us long term in terms of wresting the government from the control of the landowners. Their ability to do Awat has been activated. Let's see what that does. 20% extra conversion. Okay, that's cool. And they're already giving us 10% extra authority from Sharia. That's also cool. Any other special powers here? Doesn't look like it. Let's take a look at our other interest groups. Just quick pass through here. Nope, these all look like the default ones. Okay, alright, so it is what it is. Alright. How are our relation improvement processes? Did we stop? Not sure what happened there. Maybe I pressed a button that I shouldn't have pressed. Kabul has grown stronger. I still want to improve relations with Great Britain before I hit this button. Because that button's making me nervous. Alright, so 28 weeks till we've got tooling workshops in Iraqi Ajami. But it's realistically going to be longer. Ooh, dedicated police force succeeded. Increase enactment success chance by 10%. Wonderful. Actually, stall chance is down to 12%. Because the landowners are no longer against it? Interesting. Not sure exactly what happened here. The only people against are the pro-slavery movement. Maybe it's because my landowners are very happy. So they're letting me kind of do as I like, which is nice. Still got a small arms shortage, but them's the breaks. Oh, you know what? I need to be really a lot more conscientious with these road maintenance decrees. Because I'm not doing what I should be doing. All progress to consideration, wonderful. So, am I still making the right call with my lumber camps? I think the answer to that is yes. Did I get these lumber camps? Yes, I did. Alright, so now we'll get these furniture manufacturers producing luxury furniture. That's going to create demand for the hardwood being produced in the logging camp in Iraqi Kajami, and that's going to get this building growing in employment. Perfect. $11 more weeks on the tooling workshop. How is our supply of wood? It's okay. It could be better. It could be better, but we're trying to get a supply of iron. All right. Law progress to adoption. Excellent. That is very good. That is extremely good at this stage. Cash flow is pretty bad. Let's throw one more consumption tax in there. We can get quite a bit by taxing dope and fruit. So let's go ahead and hit those buttons. That's going to make our finances significantly superior. Actually, I think for now I'm going to not tax fruit. I think that's a staple that is very important for the people. Relations with Russia are continuing to improve. Their attitude remains cautious. Great Britain, cautious. East India Company, genial. Alright, so East India Company is not going to stop us getting up to anything. Now, does this button get us a claim on Bampur? It does not. So if we go after Makran to get Bampur, Makran is a subject of Kalat, so we're going to need to worry about them. Kalat has an agreement with the Khalsa Raj, and very little else. I do have a claim on Bampur, so I can demand the return of it. So what's that going to look like? 21% chance they say yes. No one will step in. Their army is minimal. Kalat's army is also minimal. Let's go ahead and take Bampur. If they say yes, so much the better. And there's dedicated police force. Excellent. So, I'm going to do the same thing I did before. Mobilize the first army. And put them on this border. They're actually fully supplied at this stage. The second Persian army are as well. And when this starts, we'll see if I've got claims on Makran as well. I don't know if there's a place you can look at, like, where you've got claims. But anywhere we can take more land is going to help long term. What's this? This is Oman. Alright, so do I have any more? I could do a transfer Makran war goal. Why can't... Because I don't have an interest. I can't take Makran because I don't have an interest declared in this part of the world. Bombay. Oh, interesting. This is all broken up. You know, I've never needed to pay super close attention to the geography of this part of the world before in terms of the... Or maybe they changed up the interests, or maybe I'm just misremembering. I remember thinking that Pakistan was its own zone here, but let's well, changing it now is not going to be worthwhile. But actually, if I could transfer Makran, I could get myself a free interest. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm not going to add this to the primary because I want to keep my infamy down just as far down as I can get it. I could sway Kabul. They want transfer of estate, and I'm not going to give it to them. So that's going to simply be what it is. So when I've got Kalat backs down. All right, beautiful. Is this Bampur an incorporated territory? It is. Wonderful. Resource boom. Raw goods industries in Mazandaran are reporting a small spike in goods production at our logging camps, which has led to an extra stockpile being available in the state. And there's now potential to reinvest it back into the state. Of course, we should invest this boost back into the industries. Without them, we wouldn't have the boost at all. Are you mad? Without the workers, we'd have no one to run your businesses. We should be rewarding them, not you. Boost our industries, resource industries further. 10% extra throughput for mines, oil extraction, logging, fishing, and whaling. I don't have another option yet. Maybe there's a thing I need to research for that to happen. So, let's take a quick look at luxury furniture. Okay, we're producing all of our own luxury furniture now, which is nice. And that means these furniture manufacturers should be pretty productive. They're not. I'm going to move this logging camp over to... Oh, I can't put them on focused hardwood production because I don't have sawmills active. But I can have sawmills active, so I'll do it. And then we'll put them on focused hardwood production. And then, that should kickstart these tooling workshops. The Russian model. Deeply impressed with the current state of the Russian army, key figures in the Persian armed forces have aligned with the Persian-Russian League. In the many officer clubs of Tehran, the Russian army had long been respected and dreaded in equal measure. Looked to for inspiration and planned against in war games, it was not to be underestimated under any circumstance. As an adversary, it could spell ruin. But as an ally, we've much to learn from the Russian army. Armed Forces joins the Persian-Russian League, or the loyalties of the Armed Forces should lie with Persia alone. Armed Forces extremely unhappy. Increased morale loss for 5 years. I'm going to do the first one. I'm going to let them join the Persian-Russian Fellowship. I know I'm kind of treading a complicated line here. Alright. Anyway, I'm so smart and good at video games. So, now that I'm producing tools, what's my maximum tooling production capacity? 30. Can I get these logging camps into sawmills? I can. Alright, beautiful. That's going to create a really significant tool demand. Let's just go ahead and subsidize this building for now. Just to get it fully producing. Delicious water. And what we'll do is we'll pull that subsidy off once we have the ability, once we're fully producing iron tools. Actually, this iron mine we will also subsidize. I know I'm doing a lot of subsidization in the early game, but I'm just trying to run businesses that are working, and this isn't that much. Do I need to do the port? I think I don't. I think I don't need to subsidize this port. I'm not subsidizing that port. What port am I subsidizing? That's so curious. 446. What port? Got another one. The one in Bampur. Interesting. I'm going to desubsidize that port. Let's see. Subsidies. Paper mills, iron mines. Alright, so with iron mines producing now, we've got an amount of iron being produced. This is going to increase. Actually need to... I'll be back in a second. Oh, I'm so professional. I'll be back in a second. It was only a second. Nobody, uh-oh. The Egyptians and the Ottomans are shooting at each other. So I can get involved in this, if I wish. The Austrians and the British are both likely to align with the Ottomans, which is extremely curious. I certainly don't want to align against them. So I think I'm going to sit this one out. They wouldn't accept our alignment. That's so curious. The Austrians and the Ottomans being friends. That's really, really odd. But hey, it is what it is. Alright, iron mines are running. So now we move the tooling workshops over to wrought iron tools. That's going to be producing a ton more tools. And now I got to figure out what else I need to build. I still need more hardwood. That's eventually going to be important for... Well, first, let's make sure all of our wood production is on sawmills. And see what that does to our tooling. I think I'm going to start by queuing in an additional level of logging camps, and then a few more, and then I'm going to max out iron mines here in Iraqi Kajami. We've got plenty of infrastructure available, so we'll start there. After that, I think if I can get the iron supply up, we're actually exporting quite a bit of iron at this stage. I think the actual answer is we go over to iron frame construction. We're going to need 100 iron available. We've currently got 20 iron demand from tooling workshops within the Empire. We're producing, I believe, 20 per level with our basic picks and shovels method. Yeah. So, once we're up to 5 levels of iron mines, that will allow us to convert the 2 construction sectors that are located here in Iraqi Ajami to being iron frame construction. But we can cheat a little bit, actually. We can do it after the first one. It's going to lead to increased demand, but that's okay. I can live with increased iron demand in order to get construction running faster. Would I be crazy to do it right now? I think so. I think once this is done being constructed, we can get there. We can get there and that can be chill. I can't declare war on either of these countries right now. I don't have my relations with the United Kingdom, or with Great Britain, to hit the claim Greater Khorasan button yet. So I'm going to leave that be for the moment. Instead, I'm going to focus on economic growth. I am bringing in a lot of coal, or I was a little while ago. I would also love to have native arms and artillery industries. The arms industry is going to require iron and hardwood. That's okay. The artillery industry is going to require iron and hardwood. That's okay. So, I think before we can do that, we're going to need to further increase logging output. We'll actually subsidize these logging camps to get them running as efficiently as possible. Currently, wood is still pretty expensive, but I don't think increasing the iron... So this 30 demand is all from the furniture manufacturers. Alright. That's okay. That's okay, though. I'm still producing 20 per level, and ultimately it will be more. So, I think... Oh. Events. Kabul is going after Kafiristan over here. Alright. I can't do anything about that necessarily. Or I could, but I'm not going to. Mining accident. A mine in Iraqi Ajami has collapsed, trapping miners within the dark shafts below. The scale of the accident has made the tragedy a story across Iraqi Ajami and the nation. Sorry, I was calling the state Iraqi Kajami for a long time, so I'm trying to adjust to pronouncing it something closer to to pronouncing it at least like it's spelled. If I'm an American and don't speak any Farsi. Because I don't know if Iraqi Ajami is all right, but it's certainly closer than Iraqi Kajami, at least. They dug me out, but left my friend behind. That was all the foreman was able to get out of the wretched boy. Sooty rags clung to him like wispy strands of a torn funeral jacket. Whether he held back his tears for fear of a beating or to keep strong, the foreman did not know. He was spent for the day. The foreman hoped the manager had a mind for mercy. This is a small price to pay for the march of industry. 5% of lower sternum pops in Iraqi Ajami become more radical, but industrialists become happier and stronger. This outrageous abuse of the common man cannot continue. 5% of upper sternum pops become more in Iraqi Ajami become more radical, but the trade unions become happier and stronger. Or these mines are a blight upon man and countryside alike. 5% of middle stratum pops become more radical, but the rural folk become happier and stronger. I'm going to pick the first one. That's going to give me stronger industrialists. I think I'm going to throw... No, I don't need the demand for the logging camps right now, because actually I'm in terms of capacity, I'm actually overproducing hardwood. And if these will hire, which they should now that they're subsidized, I shouldn't have a problem. How long are you till you are going to start hiring again? We're just starting to try to hire again next week. Well, it's next week already. Get hiring. Okay. Well, we're doing our best with that. Once I have these arms industries running. Okay. So if I try to help you, Kafiristan, against Kabul, what will you give me? You'll give me war goals. Return state, Kabuli Bampur. That's actually not useful to me, because I'm going to get a big ol' claim once I hit this button, and hopefully I can conquer most of Kabul at that stage without too much of a problem, using simply not annex war goals necessarily, but I should be able to do a massive block of return war goals. I've still got a truce with Herat for another 16 months. So we'll see. And then pacify the Turkmens. I need to have colonization research for that. I'm close to line infantry. So that's going well. The Bloc Brognard. It is a trade league formed by the French Republic. Oh my gosh, the French are doing a republic. In 1840, no less. My goodness. Chancellor Mathieu de la Drôme. Interesting. The rural folk. Universal Suffrage Parliamentary Republic. Based. My enemies for the purposes of this run. My ideological enemies, not my literal enemies. But still. Alright, so at this stage, I should have enough iron to convert these over to iron frame construction. It's going to cost me a huge pile of cash, but it's also going to get me building faster. And that's really critical. 29. Alright. Not that much faster, but you know how these things go. Obviously, that's made iron shockingly expensive in my my market, but that's why I'm building all these iron mines. Again, my big industrial area... Oh, they've formed Afghanistan. They formed Afghanistan. Well, I'll just have to steal Afghanistan. Alright, so... United Kingdom, Great Britain's feeling cordial. They're still cautious. I'm up to 40 with the Russians. It's a risk if I press that button, but they don't have much ability to do stuff to me. I think I'm going to do this now. We're at cordial. In spite of stiff Afghan resistance and the machinations of foreign powers, the great city of Herat has fallen to Persian might at last. Consider this world an ocean, and Khorasan an oyster within, and the city of Herat the pearl in its midst. The gates of the east have been breached. Now press on. Okay, so if we go after, for example, Afghan Bampur, I can't. Do I need an interest? Is it an interest problem? It's probably an interest problem. Yeah, okay, here we go. Alright, now I'm going to need that if I want to conquer the country at one whole kind of... at one entire stretch, which I do. Now, I know what you're thinking. Conquer Afghanistan? Are you stupid? You dumb cat? There's a reason they call Afghanistan the graveyard of empires. And to that I say, you're right. Alright, so I got one sector on iron frame. I'm actually going to move these logging camps up above because I'm going to use them as well. And once this will notify me. Alright, so there's my interest. So, Afghan Bampur. You can only do humility. What's going on with you? Do we have a truce? No, it's relations that are too good. Ooh. I should have been more careful. I'm going to expel diplomats. I am going to need to reduce infamy from here for a little bit, but I can just leave it be. It's fine. I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush. Damaging relations is not useful at this stage. French Republic is damaging relations. How could you? I can't believe this. France, how could you do this to me? Just because we're ideological enemies. How absolute dare. Alright. So I shouldn't need to be subsidizing my mines at this stage. So let's go ahead and take that off. Let's go ahead and take the logging camps. No, we do need to keep subsidizing the logging camps because they need to get larger. Is this even reasonable? I don't think so. How are these logging camps having such a hard time? Is it the price of tools? It's not, but it might be eventually. In any case, cash flow is really good now, but only for a second. I'm going to queue in another tooling workshop. Down to 4. Again, this is probably going to take about a year, maybe just a hair longer. But middle of 42, we'll just go ahead with our conquest. Let me see. We haven't been going that long. It's fine. For early game's always quick. Particularly because you end up doing a lot of just building stuff and waiting. So I have to put these. Actually, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I do want to build up those iron mines. So there's line infantry. So maybe the actual answer is I build the arms industry first. Because that's going to make it a lot easier for me to wage this war. Because Afghanistan has a pretty significant armed force. But I still think I'll be able to take them in a fight. Let's take a look at how this infamy stuff looks. So 2 infamy for Afghan Bampur, 2 for Baluchistan, 2 for northern Baluchistan, 5 for Baluchistan, 3.6 for Kandahar, 2.9 for Hazaristan. I don't think I can take Quetta. No, Quetta's I don't have a claim on Quetta. So that one's conquer, this one's conquer. And Kabulistan 8.4. Alright, so I do want to get down to 0 infamy so that I'm not popping up above 25. Do I have truce with Mayamana? I have not. Could throw a return state downrange at them. But let's work on Afghanistan first. Once I've got Afghanistan, all the rest of this is going to be easier. Or at least all the Afghan territory that I intend to take. Which is going to be a lot. There's a lot of... I was about to say there's a bunch of Persian populations in these areas, but I guess they're not. but these folks are pretty highly accepted in our country, so I think it just makes sense that they should be part of our country. Now, alright, the set of iron mines is mostly done. Obviously, the arms industries are going to take forever. Iron is actually reasonably priced right now, so let's go ahead and grab a few more of our construction, well, one more of our construction sectors. We'll do the one in Herat, and turn that to iron frame. That's going to get us building a little bit faster, and again, the goal is building faster, building faster, building faster. Once we've got arms industries built, we'll be able to go up to line infantry, and that's going to make our lives a ton easier, just a comical amount easier. East India Company, we got maxed out amicable relations with. I'm going to start improving relations with France because they're damaging relations with me, and I don't want them to damage relations with me. I want to be friends with France, or at the very least, I don't want them to come over here and shoot at me, which is the primary thing about European great powers. The other thing about European great powers is, other than the fact that they shoot at you, part of the reason we're building up an armed force is because having a reasonably powerful armed force is actually a check on great powers coming and shooting at you. If they think you won't be a pushover, like if they think you'll be a pushover, they'll come over and shoot at you. That's the way they work. So building up a reasonable armed force is a key component of making sure that, of staying out of wars. That's what you got to realize about armed forces. Like, yes, they're expensive. They're very expensive, rather by nature. But the thing about them is you want them to be deterring the enemy rather than simply fighting them. Like, if you're in a war, everything's more expensive already. And plus, you can have all kinds of other problems. Alright. That's relations with Russia maxed out. They're still cautious, but that's okay with me. Does Afghanistan have any problematic things? They really don't. We're down to 1.7 infamy, so that's good. Again, because I'm an unrecognized power, I need to be really, really conscientious about infamy in the early game. Because again, I don't want European powers coming to shoot at me. I think we can all agree being shot at by the Europeans is just something you want to try to avoid under most circumstances. Alright, 4 more weeks to these arms industries. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade my irregular infantry to line infantry. I'm going to hit the subsidize button on these armed forces, or on these arms industries. I'm going to do the same thing for my other irregular infantry. Portugal damaging relations. That's curious. This is going to get me a little bit more army power projection, and it might move me up in the rankings. There we go. Okay. I might be able to move up to unrecognized major power if I can get to 67, and that'll be fine. For now, I'm going to keep working on building up tooling capacity because the tools are starting to get real expensive around here. Alright. We are starting to produce our own guns. A couple more months until we can go after Afghanistan without fear of, with the minimum fear of infamy. Do one possible action. Request. Okay, let me actually read these to you because I didn't do that yet. I can request a Russian military mission. Request the Russian government dispatch a military mission to help modernize our army in return for certain diplomatic and extraterritorial concessions. The first mission sent will establish a Persian Cossack brigade as a permanent military institution. This is allowed if Russia has not rejected a request for support in the last 10 years, if they've got an interest here, if relations are equal to or greater than 50, and if we can sign a military assistance treaty with them. They get the event requests military mission. If they accept, we get Persian Cossack Brigade, which is 5% extra kill rate, and 25 leverage for Russia. Pretty nice. British one, same deal. frankly, the Russians have a lot more leverage over us than the Brits do. So it'd be better to have the Brits do this, but we're not particularly at risk. So I think I'll hit that button, and then I'll start my war with the Afghans. So, I mean, obviously we'll wait a couple more months, but if the Russians are pleased, then that'll be good. You know, it's nice to have a good high kill rate, I suppose. Makes it easier to win wars. I still am experiencing a shortage of small arms. Is my arms industry not able to hire? I think I need a social mobility decree here. I think that's what I need. Hopefully that'll allow my my arms industries to get rolling. There's the cotton gin, that's good. Producing extra cotton is nice. Alright. And there's mass communication, which gives us a little extra authority, which is also good. This is crazy. I guess I'm going to convene small arms imports. Because my armies need this to function. And I don't seem to be able to produce it myself. Alright, so. Afghan bomb port. We're going to hit the return state button. They might accept who could step in. Russia could. Bukhara could. Chitral could. I'm going to hit this button. Request a Russian military mission. We'll see what they say. Russia rejects request for support. That's a shame. They're still cautious. But I don't think they'll have the ability to side against us. It's a big risk. They're dealing with Bohemian and Polish uprisings now. Oh no, this is Austria dealing with a Bohemian uprising. Russia is potentially impacted by this Polish uprising, though. Because there's a lot of Poland in Russia. I'm taking a risk if I go after Afghanistan under these circumstances. But I think I'm going to do it. And I'm going to force a diplomatic play. Hold on. If I go after Kandahar, what does that look like? Russians very marginally more likely. Okay, if I do this, then Russia will not be able to intervene. So, I'm going to force a diplomatic play here. This is going to be 5.5 to get a return. Or no, this is a conquer on Afghan Baluchistan. But I'm already holding part of Baluchistan, I believe. I'm not, but you know, them's the breaks. This is necessary. This is necessary for us to finesse this. So, I'm going to hit that button, and then I'm going to add return state war goals for. Oh, I already did Afghan Baluchistan. Afghan Bampur. northern Baluchistan. If I add these to primary... Well, hold on. Yeah, return state war goal on Kandahar. I want to eventually do Kabulistan as well, but let's do these first. Hazaristan is only 5 maneuvers. And Kandahar is 25, so it's 43 maneuvers. So let's go slow here. And that's a primary. That puts me at 18.2 infamy. Northern Baluchistan puts me at 19.3. And Hazaristan puts me at 20.4. I'm going to risk adding Kandahar. Okay, I'm at 22.6. I think I can live with that. We'll get everyone together. Why don't I have a front? The front is here. Alright, it doesn't look like anyone will step in on their side. So I'm feeling pretty good. But why can I not bring these units there? This territory is not impassable. Oh boy, I hope this isn't a really bad bug or something. Because if this is a bad bug, I'm going to be very unhappy. I'm going to be an unhappy cat if this is a bad bug. And the arms industries here are still having a really hard time hiring. Okay, well, it's going up now. So, how do I... Short term... How do I get small arms? I'm going to work on... Okay, the trade center's working. Basically, anywhere I've got high-priced small arms, I need to build a trade center to produce the necessary small arms. I think I'm actually going to put these ahead of the artillery foundries because they're important. Here we go. Khorasan. One in Herat. I think that's everywhere my barracks have shortages. There's the paddle steamer. That's chill. Now, I've got 25 maneuvers. Do I risk adding the war goal? No one's going to step in at this stage, so I can add my war goal for Kabulistan. That will raise my infamy to 9.3. But I think it's worth it. I hope I'm not making a giant mistake here. I've become infamous. Again, I don't seem to have the ability to actually... I don't seem to have the ability to actually fight this war at present. Which is weird, because again, there's a giant frontier here. If you want peace, the armed forces suggest a more hardline foreign policy towards the Ottoman Empire due to our poor relations. If half of what you're saying is true, I wouldn't want you anywhere near that border, she said, but I don't think it is. Mother, you've always said not to trust the Ottomans. Why would you trust them to respect our border? No one wants their son to do it because they know it's dangerous. That's exactly why we need to do it. Set aside polite formalities. They are the enemy. Armed forces happier and deteriorates relations to the Ottomans. Or despite our mutual dislike, there's no reason to escalate. Reduced authority, armed forces unhappy. You know I'm going to make the armed forces happier because that's going to make my armies better. Alright, France is no longer damaging relations with us, which is nice. I think if I can win this war, I'll get away with this. But again, please tell me I have war support protection. I don't. So... Alright. I need to do an invasion, I guess. That's curious. I genuinely am not... I'm not wise to how that works. But, here we go. We got troops. There's a border. We got a fight available. Let's do it. Maybe that's like a characteristic of mountainous areas. Alright, now we're making progress on invading. And am I subsidizing the import of small arms? I certainly am. So that should be ungoofing my supply situation. And indeed it is. Alright, perfect. So... And I'm certainly winning my attack here. Alright, whew, we figured it out. I still have a shortage of small arms, but hopefully that's not... Hopefully we'll be able to press through. Alright, we got another battle kicking off already. 50% invasion progress. Wow, my war support's going down really, really fast. I guess it's not that fast. I'm just feeling very, I'm feeling a little weird, just because of how that went. You're both still on the front, right? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, settle down, computer. Whew. I'm scared. I'm scared. It's been a while since I've played a nation that didn't start kind of on second base here. You know, we're in a very tight spot technologically, but we do seem able to grow reasonably well. We are winning our battles. So if we can keep pressing forward, then we can win this. So I'm feeling good. Is this a front now? Yes, this is a front. All right. So that was weird. That was a little weird. But yeah, we should be moving forward in good stead. We've won 100% of the battles so far, which means our war support isn't going down very fast. Their war support's actually going down faster now. Now that this is proper front, French Republic is damaging relations again. That's okay. We can live with that for now. We're still growing in strength. Maybe the British will protect us from them. Maybe the British will protect the French from us. Probably not. Maybe the British will protect us from them. Oh my! Austria is riven with revolt. There's a Bohemian uprising. There's a radical revolt in Austria and Tyrol. Oh boy, things are going really weird in Central Europe. Force comparison on this front is a lot better. I'm actually building my artillery foundry up now. And that's going to be good, because what that's going to do is that's going to allow us to have a really rock-solid artillery situation, which is going to increase our ability to win battles. And again, long-term, the best way to stop European great powers from being able to shoot at you too much is being able to shoot at them back. So despite subsidies, these arms industries do not seem to be able to sufficiently hire. I don't rightly know what to do about that, but that's okay. Tooling industries are all right. They're also having a little bit of a hard time hiring, probably because of the price of wood. So, logging camps is the same. Let's go ahead and expand. Let's build some more logging camps in Tabriz. Wow, all of these places are having a hard time hiring. Tabriz is definitely going to need its own tooling industry, because that's a big industrial region for us. Now we have an artillery shortage. I'm not rightly sure why, because we only just developed our first artillery foundry. Maybe I will subsidize that? Maybe I will. Once we get Napoleonic warfare, we'll be doing pretty well. Sorry. Bouncing up and down here. And maybe we'll build just a few more artillery units, just to make sure that we're functioning here. Uh-oh. We've developed a front split. Whew, glad I caught that. That could have been a real headache. But I think we may have everything we wish to take at this stage. Well, yeah, because they're losing war support. So if I hit all these buttons, are they willing to say yes? They are. All right. I'm going to propose this as a peace deal. And that gets me all this territory, which is nice. Gets me a lot of resources, gets me a lot of resource-rich areas. And most of this territory is currently unincorporated. But I've got the bureaucracy to incorporate it long term. And I am going to. I actually don't need that much more bureaucracy to be able to hold this territory directly. So, let's grab one more state and swap over to filing cabinets. And that should provide what we need. Is there anywhere where we're low on capacity? Herat. Really? Okay, well. Them's the breaks. Mazandaran. Did I not build a government building here? I did. Did I not put it on filing cabinets? I did. Is it not running? It's running. Alright, we'll build up one more level. We'll build that really fast. Alright, so cash flow is a little rough. Did I acquire additional construction sectors on iron frame? I did. Let's swap you to wood frame. I don't want to completely outrun my finances in the early game, not yet. We got a very solid amount of construction available to us right now. And we can swap back and forth between building and not building. Now, tech-wise, we're about to finish Napoleonic warfare. That's good. So what do we want to look into after? I think the next step is academia to romanticism. And then after that, it's a beeline for... we'll finish out lathe if it's not done yet. We'll do the Atmo pump engine, mechanical tools, and then railways. And that's going to make our mines a lot more productive. After that, we'll circle back to intensive agriculture and the percussion cap, which will allow us to build our own munitions plants. Native munitions plants, and that's going to be really useful. We're at 25.7 infamy, but we'll be lower infamy than that pretty soon. Cash flow is a little rough because we're trying to incorporate these territories. As you can see from here, we have our recently conquered penalty. In a lot of these areas, we're not getting the necessary cash flow that we need, but in a few years, they will be incorporated and they'll be providing us with tax revenue, and that will be very good. So, you know, we'll just have to tolerate the issues for now. Now, I think short term... I'm going to stop subsidizing these paper mills. I'm going to build another level of them. Need to be more careful about those road maintenance decrees. Because it's something I could definitely be being more conscientious about. So, I'm going to build more paper mills because the country needs more paper, obviously. Small arms are what they are. I really want to try and... Here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to cut my... I'm going to put an import tariff on small arms. Because I think... There's Napoleonic warfare, beautiful. I think I actually have the ability to produce a sufficiency of small arms. I mean, it's 48. It's 48, and the small arms industries, the ability to produce 30. So I actually don't. I'm going to need another level of arms industries before I can get those fully producing. Textile mills. Ooh, I have silk production, don't I? I do. So I'm going to get my textile mills actually producing, doing craftsman sewing. No, they don't like that. That's worse. Alright. We'll prioritize non-luxury clothing for now, then. Alright, that was dumb. I admit it, that was dumb. But them's the breaks. I'm paying a lot in interest on a very small debt right now, and I'm feeling extremely salty about it. But at the end of this construction thing, I'll be doing better. I'll be doing better. So, how's iron? Iron's okay. I think short term, I actually need to increase the size of my light industry. That's part of my issue here. God, wood is so expensive, though. I think I gotta keep focusing on wood production. And then I'm going to build one more unit of arms industries. How much am I spending on subventions? Not actually that much. And I'm having a drought in Kabulistan, which is just not my favorite thing ever. To pacify the Turkmens, I need colonization, which is over here. It would be nice to be able to start colonizing Turkmenia. I would need more bureaucracy, but that's a solvable problem. God, what am I spending so much on? Yeah, it's military stuff. It's military stuff. I mean, it is what it is. It's military stuff and construction. But the investment pool just can't handle it. I'm going to put these barracks further down because I don't think they're useful. I mean, they are useful in the long term, but shorter term, I need to cut costs, and producing more paper and logging is the fastest way to do that, the most effective way to do that in the short term. So it's what I'm going to have to do. My landowners are once again quite chill and relaxed, so I could go to a professional army at this stage. It's definitely going to be something I'm going to need to do long term. Let me quickly... Oh, interesting. So Peasant Levy isn't as bad as it used to be. It only disallows advanced tactics training, training methods streamlining, and NCO incorporation. But it doesn't... It doesn't disallow... Hold on. Let me go to my barracks. Just make sure I'm understanding this right. No, okay, it's not... I think I can still do skirmish infantry with Peasant Levy. That said, long term, it could still be better to have a professional army. So I'm going to do it. We'll once again negotiate with the Shia Islam. Ooh, a special subsidy. That's interesting. So, the prominent Shia ulema meet in Tehran's finest cafe to discuss professional army. With the right leverage, perhaps their opinions could be swayed. He serves his party best who serves the country best. Rutherford B. Hayes, 19th United States President. Quietly create a special subsidy for these good people. It costs £2,100 pounds a week for 10 years, and it makes the interest group stronger, the Shia ulema. Let's add some fine print about political concessions. Political concessions, once again, is just a stronger Shia ulema, right? Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm kind of happy with political concessions. Getting a stronger Shia ulema is eventually going to create a bulwark, strengthening them against the landowners, whereas the subsidy, which is only 10 years, I'm going to do political concessions. I think that's just the most reasonable way to do it. All right, landowners are a little unhappy, but, these things happen. These things happen. We're at 30% success, 31% to fail. So, it is what it is. Now, the state of Herat, or the state that Herat is located in is Herat, and we are holding the other half of that. Yeah, Hazaristan is the state of Herat, so that's fine. We're incorporating this right now. I want to wait until I've got them fully encircled, so they can't really do anything. I want to wait until I've gotten Hazaristan fully incorporated, and then I'll do a return CB to get them going. Landowners petition government. Abdul Hussein al-Amir, the ever-efficacious leader of the landowners, has approached the government with a plan to enact a guild system. A successful enactment is certain to contribute to his reputation as an effective politician. A word, please. The minister, halfway out the door, startled at the sound. A man stood in the hallway, bearing a leather-bound dossier. Al-Amir, he knew. His appearance was unmistakable. Yes, of course, he said. Should I? Al-Amir gave a nod and handed over the folder. At least 100 pages, judging from the weight. I'm looking to raise the first draft tomorrow, he said. I would be honored to have your support. We'll see what we can do. Try to pass guild system, or they must understand the present situation does not allow for this. Reduce legitimacy, landowners unhappy. I'm going to say we'll see what we can do, because here's the thing. Passage of guild system is just another chance to throw a bunch more political power the way of the Shia ulema. And keeping them permanently happy? Really, really good. Bhavnagar is improving relations. See, the landowners' political power, they're getting a bunch from serfdom, and they're getting a bunch from slave trade. I guess they don't actually get much from... It's extra political strength for bureaucrats that you get from peasant levies. And then professional army is the other one. All right, so that's fine. Actually, we're already in consideration, which is very, very good. That's nice. I'm feeling very pleased. I need to stop building stuff soon. And I might need to cut government wages and army wages, depending on how much the expenditures are. Nah, it should be fine. I should be in very good stead. How much am I? I'm at a debt of a national debt of about $1 million. How much am I paying in interest? Almost 6K. That's brutal. Friends, there's no other way to put it. That's brutal. It's just brutal. We're going to need to be very careful. I'm actually going to throw in another consumption tax. This one on luxury furniture, which is the best option I've got at this stage. Mazandra needs another government building in order to have sufficient taxation capacity? That's crazy. Tabriz happily does not. Tabriz can use filing cabinets. However, that has created a paper shortage. Where are we with taxation capacity, though? We're over. So if I reduce the size of the government sector here, say by 2, that should be okay. I'm just going to give this a week to sort itself to make sure that I'm good on taxation capacity here. And then it'll be solid. I could actually drop 1 more without a problem. I'm going to do it. I know this is radical, but it is simply a reasonable response to the way things are. If I need to build up another, I'll build up another. It's cost-cutting measure. Discord within the Shia Ulema. An influential faction within the Shia Ulema has grown frustrated with their co-members' neutrality on the topic of professional army. Themselves in favor of the law, they've now resolved to form a separate political faction intent on passing it. How can you all stand idly by and watch the world pass before your eyes? Have you no sense of honor, of duty to your fellow man? I say nay to such lack of ambition, and I dare say I am not alone in this. With their support, the bill shall pass, extra enacted success chance, slightly weaker Shia Ulema, or the armed forces extend an open hand to these mavericks, significantly weaker Shia Ulema, stronger armed forces, 10% enactment success chance instead. I'm going to go with the more enactment chance. I don't necessarily want to reduce the strength of my Shia Ulema. I think it's perfectly easy to see why I would not want that. So now the question is, I've got quite a few radicals, but that's simply going to be the case for a while now. I've got some turmoil, so let's go ahead and increase law enforcement. I've still got government sectors that I can swap over to filing cabinets if needed. So short term, I'm not in a hard crunch for paper. Are these paper mills continuing to hire? They should be. Why is my economy going so buck wild all the time? Why is there so much... Why are so many of these buildings not able to freaking do anything without government subsidies? Popular playwright endorses reform. In the midst of the debate surrounding professional army, one of the country's leading playwrights, strongly associated with the armed forces, has staged a widely acclaimed play whose politically laden theme makes no secret of the author's desire for the law to be passed. The man's viewpoints may be somewhat partisan, but, sir, you cannot argue with his prose. Professional army will be on everyone's lips now, 10% increased enactment success chance. This sure puts the armed forces in a good light, 10% stronger armed forces. Or let's ensure the play gets a wider international audience, extra prestige, by 5%. I'm definitely going to pick enactment success chance at this stage. I think that shouldn't be a problem. We're at an hour, and we're close to 2 hours. And we're closing in on the beginning of 1846. I feel like I could actually go longer, but I do want to try and be conscientious. There will be plenty of late nights, but maybe I'll throw in an additional couple of years in recognition of the fact that over time, as the game's running slower and I'm doing more, it's going to be a slower process, and later episodes will be more out-of-game time spent on in-game events that take more time. Yeah, that's how I think I'm going to think about this for now. So how's Incorporation of Hazaristan? 3 more years. Now, in terms of pacify the Turkmens, any building in Khorasan, Mazandaran, or Herat? So Mazandaran or Herat. Alright. Khorasan, I think, is a place where I've got quite a few levels of barracks already. So... Oh! And I've got Napoleonic Warfare. Which I didn't realize I had already gotten. I think I just blew right by it. So let's build a few levels of artillery in Khorasan. Rousing speech captivates the public. This afternoon, Karim Sadegh, leader of the armed forces, delivered a fiery speech advocating for the enactment of professional army. Making an appearance before the public in Tehran's main square, Karim Sadegh's powerful rhetoric left even his most embittered political opponents impressed. Excerpts from the speech are already being circulated across Persia, fanning the fires of an already roaring debate. This should ease the path to reform greatly, extra enactment success chance, or performances like these reflect well on Karim Sadegh and his cause. Stronger armed forces, not as much enactment success chance, and he gets more popular. I'm just going to pick the first one. A 70% success chance is extremely respectable. I'm not at all motivated to increase the influence of the armed forces at this stage. Just restoring my water here. Gotta keep extra water for a long recording session. Now, what do I want to start going after Central Asian countries medium term? I don't think so, not yet at least. Obviously building up another level of institutions is costing me. There's army reserves, nice. Baroda improving relations, okay. They're seeing the writing on the wall, which I'm glad they are. Herat is fully incorporated? Is fully incorporated, okay. You need one level of government admin. And that should provide the necessary capacity. I still need a little bit more taxation capacity in Mazandaran. So we'll build that as well. And yeah, that'll be reasonable. Cash flow's already doing a little better. We've moved to adoption for professional army, so that's good. Let's move these government admins up ahead here. Do I have a source of sulfur anywhere in my currently held lands? I do. Okay, so Fars is going to be a location where I'm going to build some paper mills, because this is going to be a good place to build paper mills when the time comes. Let's go ahead and once again move our road maintenance decrees to make sure that we're supporting that. Devout scandal. It has been revealed that Mahmoud Ansari of the Shia Ulema has been having a secret affair with a member of the clergy. His resignation is being demanded. The very fact that this sneaky bastard thought he could get away with such a gross misuse of his power shows everything wrong with the leadership of the Shia Ulema. Force him to step down, he resigns in shame, or let he who is without sin cast the first stone. He loses a bunch of popularity. I think we're doing a devout run, which means that if a scandal like this happens, he's got to go. That's simply the nature of things. We've now got a royalist in charge of the Shia Ulema. That's not really a difference overall in the way things are going. How's my paper market? Paper market's still kind of brutal. This extra paper mill is going to improve things, but it's going to be a bit of a struggle. Anyway, building up these government sectors is going to help long term. Capacity is okay. The only place we're short is in Kabulistan, and Kabulistan is not a incorporated territory yet, and won't be for another 2.5 years. So I'm not super in a rush about that. Now, the state of my mana is this entire area. This is southern Turkestan state. I should have return CBs on that area as well. Do I put the barracks in first? I think I do. No, I don't, because I need the government to have the necessary capacity to fund the to support the increased bureaucracy that the colonization will require. How are the businesses in Iraqiya Jami working? Okay, so they don't need subsidies anymore? I guess they don't. Tooling workshops still do. I don't know how I'm still costing money funding logging camps, but like it feels like wood is extremely expensive in our market, so because there are all these businesses that use it. Alright, we're at 100%. 100% success chance for professional army, so it's definitely going to go the next time through. What the heck? Oh. I think the landowners changed ideology somehow, and yeah, they don't want guild system anymore. So the petition went away. All right, that's what happened. All right, I figured it out. I was very confused for a second. I'm like, why are these not? It's because they changed ideology. I'm gonna tick this down and do the barracks first, just to make sure I don't completely outrun my capacity to produce paper. Although some of the paper is being exported, so maybe I don't need to worry about that. I'll let it go. I'll let it happen. Persian-Russian League offers opportunity. The Persian-Russian League has offered us an opportunity to establish a foreign investment rights agreement with Russia. The lobby has offered to use their connections to smooth the negotiating process. The negotiations, done under the table with the representative of the Russian government, have been long and arduous. The Russian representative knew that they were dealing with a group without the power to match theirs, and had adjusted their strategy accordingly. Nevertheless, they had come to an agreement. Nothing in writing, but that was hardly important. When the government sent the official copy, if they did, they would find that there was already a drafted response waiting in St. Petersburg. We would be happy to pursue this as lobby opportunity to the Journal of Persia, or this is not in our interests. I'm going to say this is not in our interests. I don't want any country leading a sovereign empire to have an investment agreement with me. Empty pockets. A series of perceived poor decisions by the Sunni rights movement has led to a notable decrease in its ability to raise money. Numerous wealthy sympathizers have quietly halted their support for the movement in its current form. We do not wish to appear partisan. Always the same refrain. The organizer paced back and forth within his tiny office, fist clenched until it felt as if his knuckles were about to burst through his skin. Occasionally he stole a glance at the unopened envelopes on his desk, all of which he knew would repeat a variation on the same. Partisan. What did it mean? That they cared for something? That they'd chosen to do something beyond count the money in their vaults? He had something important to do, something which would improve society itself. They had a chance to do the same. In that light, how could partisanship possibly be bad? Perhaps we'll find an alternative source of funds. 2% of Pops in Iraqi Ajami become more loyalist. Sunni rights movement is weaker for 2 years. Or everything dies in the end, some faster than others. The Sunni rights movement is significantly weaker for 2 years, but no loyalists. I'm going to go for the loyalists this time. It's nice to have loyalists in the country. Population has increased significantly as we've expanded, but will continue to increase. Alright, beautiful. There's professional army. That will be good for the country long term. That will also provide a bump to the strength of the Shia Ulema because of the multiple, political concessions sponsor, and those are gonna stick around. Nothing's gonna change with those. Huh. Got some options, combination acts. And I can't get secret police because I don't have central archives yet. Foreign investment rights relinquished between Great Britain and East India Company. Interesting. Alright, so from here... I think perhaps I build another level of sawmills. And we're working on general staff. We're chipping away at general staff. Which is going to take a long time, but again, this is a survival technology. We need it. And I should have pretty soon. Alright, yes, these are the last 2 levels of barracks that we'll need to start colonizing into Turkmenia. Now, do I have an interest available? I do. Yes, because my interest in Bombay is now free because I own territory there. And where else do I declare? I could go for the... I don't think I declare interests over here yet, at least. Oh, I don't have colonization yet. Alright, so it's time to do a little rework of our tech development plan. I think... Do I still do academia? I think I still knock out academia. Oh, but do I... Oh, it's so long. I am going to sneak in colonization here once academia is finished, and then we go back to production to finish out all this stuff. And now I'm short on freaking artillery. I keep building stuff. It's tough. Wow, I'm paying so much in interest right now. This is crazy. Alright. I need to actually handle my national budget here. It's going to cost me some prestige, but it's going to have to be worth it. It's going to cost me some military support, but it's going to have to be worth it. I'm not currently constructing anything. Do I raise the base tax rate? I don't think so. I think I don't. Alright. Escaping fugitives. A significant group of slaves have risen up and made for the borders of Russia, where slavery is illegal. It is the duty of this government to seize and arrest fugitives and remove them from the territory from which they've fled. Now go out there and do your duty. We shall fund the capture of all fugitives. Landowners are happier. Increase slave revolt movement pop attraction, but reduce bureaucracy, or we'll pay for nothing. Landowners unhappy. I'm going to pay for nothing. Landowners can be a little unhappy for a bit. I'm not going to pay for things. An exile at the gates. The relatively lenient Persian immigration system has long been attractive to those fleeing their home nations. Recently, Nawaz Gurmani has petitioned to join the stream of people moving to Persia. Nawaz Gurmani is a land reformer aligned with the intelligentsia. It was one name on a very, very long list, one that had passed through multiple layers of bureaucracy before being noticed. One fateful day, however, one clerk at the end of his shift pointed at that name and spoke those fatal words. I could swear I've heard of him before. Eventually, Nawaz Gurmani, too, will be Persian. He becomes employed here, or we will not have someone like this, regardless of precedent. Pissed off industrialists. I'm going to do the first one. I'm fine with having a land reformer in the country. That's just fine. Alright, cash flow's doing okay. Can I... Can I get money out of Russia somehow? They desire to give me military assistance. But what if... They will not take on my debt. But what if they gave me just a little change out of their pocket? Maybe just a little bit. Just a little bit of money. They want investment rights. Oh, that's a giant risk. They don't want anything else, though. What if I owe an obligation? They don't want to guarantee independence. That's not ideal. %65% chance they say yes to this. What if I increase it to 1,500K? No. Or 1,500, rather. It's not great. But being able to being forced to join a war on Russia's behalf is not the end of the world. I'm going to do this. And getting military assistance from them will also help us. Alright, so they did it. So we're getting a little cash from them. Ever-increasing influence. Members of the Persian-Russian League have discreetly dispatched one of their number to amplify their mission in Persia's most widely read newspaper. The Persian-Russian League has calculated with utmost mastery the dissemination of materials to secure a foothold in both the political world and the public's imagination. With great satisfaction in a lobbyist's comments, there is no denying that the number and reach of newspapers is ever expanding. This approach is sure to reach influential lawmakers to favor our scheme. This sets a bad precedent, landowners unhappy, or this is ingenious, reduced legitimacy, increased appeasement. I'm going to go with the second one. What does that do to our legitimacy? Okay, so it does bounce us down to 5. Down to 95, which is... it could be worse. Alright, if I annex Muhammara, 35% chance they say yes. I don't think the Russians are going to stop me. My mana might try to stop me. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Excellent. Beautiful. Alright, Arabistan is now in the country. I'm going to start incorporating that territory. That's very, very good. Whew. Oh, that could have been a risk. But I'm feeling good now. Obviously, I can't build. The investment pool is going to have to do the building by itself. But I gotta chip away at this national debt. The more I chip away, the faster it's going to go. And again, as we get more territory incorporated, we're going to be... our cash flow is going to be better, and that's going to make things easier. Let's increase taxes up to high. That's going to put us in a legitimate government. And we'll increase taxes... no. Not up to very high. Not yet. We'll just put it at high. Again, we're just bashing away at our national debt. Obviously, this is going to take a very long time to deal with. Let's grab this fella and give him a little promotion. Ali Pasyan. Hopefully this doesn't lead to a massive wave of radicalization or anything like that. Because this amount of interest payments is actually really wrecking my ability to do anything, and that simply will not do. Investment pool is increasing in size. It would be nice to have a company. How long before I have a company? Stock exchange? No, not stock exchange. Corporate charters. Oh man, I gotta get to tier 2 in social before I can do that. Ah, brutal. It's brutal, friends. I'm a major and things are still really, really rough. Do I want to fight a war? What if I fought a war? I don't think so. I think the answer is, from a medium-term perspective, I need to get these territories fully incorporated, and only then... That's a... Bampur is a very unusually shaped country. Hey, Oman, are you a British subject? Wait a minute. This is binding for the entire campaign. Oh, heck on this. Okay. Yeah, I think my strategy is going to be a return CB. That's how I'm going to do that. And again, the reason I'm not waging a war right now is because I need to get my national debt under control. I know this is kind of flatlining the growth of my GDP, but it's got to be done. I don't think there's any other way around it. Afghanistan, I think at this point, I'm happy being better friends. Let's be better friends, Afghanistan. I don't want to have to devour your country. Although I will if I feel it's in my national interest. But it's also nice not to necessarily be on the border of the Khalsa Raj, because the Khalsa Raj loves shooting at people. They just love it. It's their favorite. We're already going down in interest payments. Again, I would really love to get to 0. I think that's probably unrealistic short-term wise, but it's not completely unrealistic. Standard of living's still okay. We are experiencing some radicalization, but not too much. That peasant movement's getting pretty strong now that we've got that agitator. But that's not necessarily a giant problem. Oh. I'm like, oh, I can go to per capita taxation. No. No, I cannot. Once the landowners are happier and happier, I should be able to swap over to at least to tenant farmers. Again, the Shia Ulema are slowly growing in power. They haven't been growing in power at the rate that I was hoping that my repeatedly granting them political concessions would. But again, part of what I need to do is chip away at the strength of the landowners. That said, the landowners seem to only be getting stronger ultimately. And I'm not rightly sure what to do about that. If I push the Shia Ulema out of power, though, that will eventually increase them in strength, purely by virtue of the fact that taxes are currently high. So that's one strategy. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Mazandaran is still low in taxation capacity? That's bananas. I am going to remove my road maintenance decrees. Just make sure I'm good in terms of market access. I'm good in terms of market access. Against the odds. Despite not enjoying full rights under Persian law, some wealthier Somali people have begun moving into neighborhoods and frequenting establishments they would normally be excluded from. Somali people. I have Somali people in Persia. Somehow it was sorted in the other direction. Somali people. 50K? Where do you live? Heck? Yes, here we go. Okay. 50K Somali people. Where are you located? In Khorasan. How curious. Interesting. If we want our children to have a future, this is where we should raise them, he said. I want them to live somewhere safe. She crossed her arms. Have you seen the looks we get? When people talk about safe, they don't mean safe for us. They mean safe from us. We made some new regulations to keep the peace. Increased radicalism for discriminated pops. 2% of Somali pops in Persia become more radical. Or they've earned their success with all it entails. Petite bourgeoisie, weaker and unhappier. 2% of Somali pops become more loyalist. I'm going to pick the second one. The petite bourgeoisie are not a meaningful factor in my country at this time. So, it is simply not reasonable to pander to them. Okay, with the Shia Ulema out, the landowners still seem to be increasing in strength all the time. They're a little happier now, so that's good. Again, Very good for the landowners to be long-term happy so that I can do as I like in the country. Keep passing political concessions by way of the Shia Islam. What I really need is to start getting religious schools and religious education and health systems. That's what's really going to help me do what I wish to do. You know, I didn't think that 20% infamy decay thing would be that big of a deal, but it's a little bit of a deal. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling how long it's taking for the for my infamy to decay. This is 7 months. Kishiju's sides with Russia. Interesting. Ah, the Kazakh Khanate. The Kazakh Khanate. I think I'm gonna go for a return of the rest of Herat. No one appears willing to stop me here except for Kunduz, Makran, and Chitral, and I'm happy to conquer all them. This is going to be a significant expense, but I shouldn't have mobilized so soon. Ah, that was dumb. That's okay. These things happen. Hopefully mobilization costs are not too significant. Alright, perfect. We're doing fine. We're doing fine money-wise. Our armed forces are still pretty cheap. Now I'm thinking I may have done this too soon. Maybe I'll put them on hold. Just for the moment, and when this kicks off, I'll just make sure that we're finished incorporating before I actually go. I might be dumb. I might have done myself a dumb here, but them's the breaks. What's Russia's goal here? Russia wants a protectorate over the Kazakh Khanate. The Kazakh Khanate. Prussia sides with Russia. Wow. Oh, and Bohemia became fully independent. That's wild. Austria, are you doing okay? They're still the number 7 great power in the world, so probably yes. Sevad Marshan is exiled from the Ottoman Empire. He's a traditionalist aligned with landowners. Alright, well that doesn't really change anything. Hey, there's the Lathe. Wonderful. Oh, Lathe is really good. Lathe is really, really, really good. Oop. Hold on. Let's get our furniture manufactories producing furniture, our textile mills producing dyes, and all that good stuff. Our food industry is producing pot stills? No, we're Muslims. We're not going to be drinking. I don't know why I would have even thought about that. Alright, so it's going to be 9 weeks. I think that's enough time. And academia unlocked. Alright, excellent. Extra wealth education access. Alright, interesting. So from here, we're finishing out general staff. Alright, very good. And then in society, we're just going to swing over to Colonial. Wow, that was a lot faster than I thought. Hopefully that won't... Okay, and Herat is fully incorporated. Alright, losing rank... That's okay. That's okay. I can put... If I put government wages back up to Midland... I'm actually doing a lot better cash flow-wise at this point. With interest significantly... With interest payments falling, I'm doing a lot better. I still need to be conscientious, but I'm slowly building incorporation of these areas. In fact, Many of them are nearly fully incorporated. Kabulistan, you do need one government admin to get a sufficiency of taxation capacity in order to function. Mazandaran, you need another one. Incredibly, taxation capacity is still a problem here. Obviously, that's going to cost us a pile of cash for a few weeks, but only a few. Because of the turmoil. Yeah, that'll do it. That will do it. Alright, so... General Staff is still 5 months away. But that'll finish out by the end of the year, and that'll be just fine. Alright, so I think my cash flow is going about as well as it could be at this stage. Alright, that's fixed my prestige problem. Still being careful. Could put a consumption tax on tobacco, but it just feels so not needed. I could increase my my urban center production method. I think that's the right call. It's gonna put a little bit more of a strain on my economy because it's gonna take glass. But glass is relatively cheap. Well, no, glass is only cheap because I'm not producing much of it. Hardly any of it, really. I could be producing leaded glass. Oh, but I need to build a lead mine. Where are my glassworks? Glassworks are in Khorasan. Is there any lead available here? No. It has to be in Tabriz. So I'm going to build it. I'm going to build a lead mine in Tabriz, and then we're going to turn the glassworks into leaded glass production, and that's going to be good. It's going to be good for the economy overall. Ooh, it hurts. It hurts. I want to be chipping away at these interest payments. This is also spiking the price of iron, because now my construction sectors are using it. This is one of the weird things about construction when you're an on and off country that doesn't have much of an investment pool functionality, because your price of iron wildly fluctuates. Closing in on general staff right now. Again, ideally, you would want to be able to field your own to serve your own to experience autarky, to self-satisfy your need for munitions, because that's a vital war-making resource. But ultimately, it simply is not great that way. Standard of living is actually up surprisingly, despite the fact that taxes are high. Not exactly rightly sure how to think about that, but it is what it is. How long for colonies? Oh, 35 months. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt, friends. It's gonna feel bad before it feels better. Literacy rate of 11% is making things pretty difficult. You know, Sunni ulema are not increasing in political power the way I was really hoping. Landowners don't seem to be doing so either. Afghanistan is damaging relations. Well, you know what, Afghanistan? You can damage relations all you like. It won't save you. It won't save you. How do I still have 3.34k unrealized taxes? Oh my gosh, is my leader a fool? He's not. Oh, Kabulistan is still having insufficient taxation capacity. Oh, some of these areas are not fully incorporated yet. Are you running, sir? No, they're just not finished running yet. All right, let's go ahead and move up to medium wages for government, and we'll do the same for military. It's hardly a difference, truthfully, at this stage. What do I... Can't promote national values because they don't have nationalism yet. Well, that makes perfect sense. I withdraw any objections. Small arms and artillery are still expensive, but I can't really do anything about that. Coup in the Ottoman Empire. Interesting. Who's running things now? Abdul Masid Osmanoglu, an intelligentsia modernizer. Isn't he the default ruler? I suppose so. Oh no, they got a sultanate guy in there now. Interesting. Or a local governor's guy. Okay. So now the question is, I don't think I can afford to increase the size of my military right now, but I can do a little bit more expansion. It's a conquer if I go after Makran. It's a conquer if I go after Baluchistan. It's a return if I go after Maimana. Does anybody stop me? Russia. Alright, well that's not great. Kunduz. I don't have the interest. I do have the interest. Hold on. Relations are too good. What about Bukhara? Russia probably doesn't step in. Kokand might. Maimana might. It's a risk, but they could say yes. They could simply say, I'll give it to you. And they have a pretty high chance of doing so. So let's take a shot at this. And if it's a mistake, it's a mistake. I'm not going to mobilize yet. I'm not super concerned. Do I have any other good return war goals? I do. I can return the whole country if I like. Tajikistan over here. Merv over here. And do I make these primary? What's Russia's stance right now? Minus 40. I'm making it. I'm going the path of high risk. I'm doing it. No, I definitely want to keep following this. Alright, time to mobilize it. I don't wish to make an invasion. Alright, now that I am guarding the front. Again, really hoping Russia doesn't get involved. I'm going to continue to improve relations with them. I didn't realize it had fallen so much. What about Britain? We're still amicable with Britain. East India Company, or only cordial? We'll bring them up as well. Alright. Cash flow is looking good. Chipping away at this interest, at our interest payments. I think maybe the answer is I need to rejigger my construction sectors. But no, I mean, having high construction capacity is good. But it does make my economy a little swingy. Has Russia declared neutrality? They have. Excellent. So now, I simply add a return war goal for Uzbekia. Do I make that primary? I think the answer is actually yes. Is this wise? Yeah. Alright. Well, I goofed up my, my infamy, but it's okay. It's okay. It's alright. It's fine. It's chill. I'm chilling. I'm too chill for all this. You know what? I don't... I do want to damage... I do want to damage relations with Kunduz. You know what? East India Company is almost done. I don't know. What's this doing to me? It's reducing my prestige. It's not as great. We'll stop damaging... We'll stop improving relations with East India. Alright. We're gonna go forward. I don't think I need my other army on this, so I'll just do as I like. Forbidden Love. Interesting. The Shah's heir, Nasser al-Din Qajar, has caused a scandal by declaring his love for a young Somali woman. It is the opinion of this author that our vivacious crown prince may be truly, impossibly, uncomfortably in love. The news have undoubtedly distressed the Ton's aspiring women, but I imagine it must bring in a new glimmer of hope to the eyes of Somali people far and wide. Can you believe it, Lady Hill? You didn't even have the decency to be quiet about it. What of the bloodline, Lord Dawson? Yes, what of the children, Lord Dawson? Will no one think of the children? Don't fret, Lady Annesley. The Shah will surely intervene. The Crown Prince will act according to his station. He loses some popularity and becomes wrathful. Extra authority, that's not bad. Unfortunately, the young woman has disappeared. 25% of Somali pops in Persia become more radical. He gets well-known tragedy, extra popularity for 50 years. Or we must let love be love. Increase acceptance of Somali culture in Persia. And he loses some popularity and gains and changes ideology to enlightened royalist. You know what? I would be delighted to have improved acceptance of Somali culture in Persia. We must let love be love. And if it happens that he becomes Shah, then so be it. Those, in the words of Jane Cobb, that will be an interesting day. Alright, I think my cash flow is good enough that I can safely start doing stuff again. So what do I need economically at this stage? I still could use more cannon. My artillery foundry is only half employed though, so that's maybe silly. Subsidies and subventions are okay. Yeah, what do I need for the slightly longer term? I would like to get my meat packing industry using tools. So let's go ahead and hit that button. We'll at least go to butchering tools. Has that increased the price of tools significantly? Let's take a look. Not that much, actually. So that's okay. I want to increase the size of my light industry. So let's build some textile mills in Iraqi Ajami. And we'll build another furniture. No, because these are still not fully producing, which is crazy. Let me take a look at trade policy and see if I'm goofing myself. I think at this stage, I'm okay on military goods. I think maybe the answer is I subvene the export of luxury furniture? Maybe I do. I'm going to cut silk export tariffs. I'm going to cut dye export tariffs. Import tariffs on glass are fine. I need more paper. My paper is extremely expensive. Let's build another Level paper mills and farms. They can't hire. Why can't they hire? That's the thing that's driving me batty. These businesses seem unable to hire. And it's like, why can't you hire? You're profitable, sir. You're profitable. I mean, I guess the answer is I just need to get mechanical tools, and I need them bad. Because that's what's going to give me the production method necessary to actually do that thing. Do I have the ability to produce ceramics in my glass? I'm already doing it. I don't know why I thought I would not be. Oh, right. I can go to leaded glass. That's good. That's going to produce more glass. That's going to be good for the country. That's going to create a lead shortage, but that's going to get my lead mine running. Which I built in Tabriz? Yes. I don't need to subsidize it. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I got a little extra authority. Can I get a real consumption tax? Consumption tax on meat. That's good. That's good for things overall. I've got a hold of Bukhara's capital, which means they are no longer war support protected, and I've nearly got hold of the entire country. But they will not accept subordination until I've fully conquered them, which is fine. It's fine. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. We'll see if Russia still wants to stop me from conquering Myanmar. I am improving relations with them as we speak. My infamy will be below 25 pretty soon. So I'm doing a good solid conquest here. Now, there we go. Now, a lot of the people who live in these areas are pretty close to me culturally, are they not? Yeah, it seems as though they are. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and commence incorporation of these territories. And what we'll do is we'll reset production methods. Interesting. Sure, we'll go to exploitative practices. Why not? Who says you can't? Only I just reduced my construction. I'm sure it's fine. The slaves of Samarkand. With the capture of Uzbekia, we have encountered large numbers of Persian slaves. Their relatives clamor for their freedom, but manumission will likely result in the current Turkic master's anger. Aga, years back, while on assignment, I stood in a Bukharan bazaar, observing the sale of a young Persian girl, lost in grief and treated with the grossest brutality by her master. Then I was powerless, a stranger in their lands, without the means to ransom her. My heart burned, and I became nothing. Inshallah, I swore, a day will come. Bismillah, and shackle every Persian found. Slaves become farmers. In Uzbekia and Persian Merv. 5% of Turkmen and Uzbek pops become more radical in both places. Free them and facilitate their relocation. Costs money, moves them to Persia. Leaving them in place, they're not worth the trouble. Persian pops become more radical in those areas, but Turkmen and Uzbek pops become more loyalist. I'm going to unshackle them. I'm going to unshackle them and leave them in place. So, Maimana, are you still... Is Russia still going to help you? Ah. Stupid Maimana. How could you do this? I've got an army running with some skirmish infantry units. Oh, interesting. That's curious. That's a most curious situation. Cash flow is doing good now. I think I need to subsidize this mine. I think that's the only way we do things here. Now, I should start producing coal. Do I have the ability to produce steel? Actually, a better question than do I have the ability to produce steel is do I have a use for it? Not until I've got mechanical tools. How long is it going to take me to get mechanical tools? It's going to take me a while. So I think what we do now is we focus on iron production to increase... I mean, actually, what we need is paper, but of course, I can't... Nah, paper will be fine once I got mechanical tools. Yeah, I think it's iron production now. I think iron production is the focus. Well, no, we're actually pretty well balanced on iron. Although I guess part of the reason is because we don't have our construction sectors fully converted over to steel frame. Maybe we reduce the size of some of these other ones, like Mazandaran. No, Mazandaran's in the country. Like Persian Tajikistan, it's reduced by 1, and then Kabulistan is where? Is over here. Alright, we'll reduce this by 2, and then we'll focus on increasing the number of these that are on iron frame, because realistically it could be higher. And that'll create additional demand for iron, but you can satisfy that demand by building up iron mines in Tabriz. Tabriz already has tooling workshops, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get that done. We're still in the black while building, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. We're no longer in the black while building. Esmail Mashedi is a Shiite traditionalist. Or he's part of the Shiite traditionalist movement. He's a modernizer. Ooh, that's interesting. I've got the intelligentsia in the country, and they're making things difficult. Kiva's improving relations. Huh, I wonder why. I can't conquer them right now, but I'm thinking about it. Believe you me, I'm thinking about it. Oh, man. So, it is the middle of 1850. It's been a good first 15 years for Persia. We've accomplished quite a bit. We've conquered a lot of Afghanistan. We've moved into conquering Central Asia. Soon we'll be starting to colonize Turkmenia here. And overall, we're doing good, and we've got a plan to go after Oman to get their treaty ports revoked, and potentially other things as well. So yeah, so I'm feeling reasonably confident about things. My finances are doing okay with full construction, and we're working on building up more iron supplies, which is also going to make things more productive long term. One more thing I want to check before we get going is if I return to southern Turkestan, China might step in, but Russia will not. So that's interesting. Before we clear out of here, let's start improving relations with China. It's been a lot of years in game, but not all that long an episode, all things considered. Only just shy of 10 minutes shy of 3 hours. So yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good. Next time we'll be doing a little bit more expansion, and I'll be thinking more about my ideology for the run and how I want to manifest that as we get going. That said, that is going to be the end of the episode. My nerds, I have had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.